Chapter 2.1 Drawing Part 2. So we're going to get into the colored pencil. This is much, much later in history, much more in the 20th century. Okay, so it's like a graphite pencil. We've used these. I think everybody knows what this is like. It has a little more wax, a little more pigment. And if you go back and you look at the pigment videos, I kind of explain a lot of these pigments in drawing and painting are the same. But the binder, meaning wax or oil or whatever it is, are different. Okay, colored pencil is hard to erase or alter. It's not graphite, it's not the same material. It's got pigment in there, and pigment's hard to remove, especially with this type of medium with the pencil. Okay, so our piece of cake piece by DJ Hall in '87. I just think this is such an incredibly 80s looking image. I even kind of know where they are, like sitting in Santa Monica. It's weird. Okay, so these shoulder pads, that's very 80s. I'm just pointing this out just for giggles. And the polo shirt, oh my gosh, men, women, every creature on earth. And reflective big sunglasses. The hair is casual 80s. Usually you see like that Farrah blow-dried hair. That's actually more 70s, but you'd still see it. Okay, so lots of things happening here. Really beautiful rendered details, and every little detail here is in colored pencil. Very impressive, difficult to use. You can see a little bit here with the texture of the paper, so it's possible that DJ Hall is using scumbling, which is sort of sideways, when you do your texture sort of thing sideways with the pencil, and it picks up the texture of the paper. So she's pushing colors into the fiber of the paper and leaving strong white areas. That's just plain paper. Intense light of California afternoon and exploiting the richness of colored pencil. Charcoal is our first dry media. Think about it. We're in a cave. We're early man, 30,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago. We're grunting and we're not even talking to each other yet. And we want to communicate something. And there's a little piece of wood in the fireplace. We just ate our bison or whatever it would be. And we decide to take some of that charcoal up and draw on the wall. So that happens. Also, there is some fat left over. When you cook meat, there's fat. So you mix the charcoal with the fat, and you get this fantastic stuff that's lasted 30,000 years on these cave walls. Okay, so charcoal smudges easily if it's just straight charcoal with no fat or wax or what have you. But it gives a really dark value, and it's soft. And so it's easily manipulated, meaning you could erase it, put it down, pull it up. And it's best to work with a rough paper with tooth. This is a beautiful piece from Kathy Kollwitz. We look at her a few times. Really dramatic artist, early 20th century. This particular case, you can see again what I was talking about with that tooth of the paper. Scumbling is a little bit of that technique where it's bumpy and you see that texture of the paper. It kind of adds to the effect of the work. So her face and hand are rendered realistically. So a lot of times charcoal is used in quick, what we call gesture drawings. That's not what this is. This is more refined, but this area is done in a gesture style. She might have started with a quick gesture outlining and then interior movement of some of the features, because she could erase this back down if she chose and get this detailed. So what I'm trying to get across here is this detailed hand and this detailed face started this way and then was kind of erased and drawn and so on. Like this would be erased, there'd be more heavy application of charcoal there, back and forth. The medium works as a back and forth sort of a medium. This is a beautiful piece of charcoal on wove paper. Now what that means is that it's got more cloth in it, cotton, and it could have been produced in a different way. Paper is made in a few different ways, okay? So this is an elderly peasant woman, pardon the mispronunciation there, or the wrong word. And this is a drawing in charcoal, and you can see again, once this is finished out, how highly detailed things can get Charcoal is really used for shading, so we have a strong light source here, shadow here, and all the highlights, the grays in between, the whitest white here on her nose, and her her eye highlight. I need to slow down. And then the shadows here with her darkest darks, okay? And all those nice grays in between. This background is very gestural and quick, but it does kind of serve as, a wall perhaps or a backdrop that we're not really noticing. But I just want to point that out, that sort of gesture is still there, and there's actually a lot of fingerprint marks in there too. Okay, so each line and blemish can be carefully rendered. Now, rendering means accurate drawing. You'll see that term, or you'll hear that term a lot. So how well can you render? Rendering is a type of drawing. It's a whole category for like medical illustration or some other certain things that need accuracy. Blueprints, it's not exactly the right word, but you get the idea that it's really specific and clean. Okay, so the highlights in the face, we talked about that.